Hello, welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television with the most important events of the day. I am your host, İlham Məmmədov. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, and President of the Republic of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, who was on a working visit to Azerbaijan, held a one-on-one meeting. Then the meeting continued in an expanded format. President of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, welcomed President of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko. The presidents posed together for photographs. The heads of state made speeches at the meeting. President İlham Əliyev said, "Dear Alexander Grigorievich, I'm glad to see you again. Yesterday we had the opportunity to communicate in an informal format and discuss a wide range of issues on the bilateral agenda, as well as the regional issues. Today we will continue our dialogue. I'm very glad that the relations between our countries are developing. Together we have brought dynamism to our relations and see progress in all directions. We see that the issues we have agreed on are being implemented. Our reciprocal visits are of regular nature. I have refreshed my visits to Belarus and your visits to Azerbaijan. All this shows that there is a close political relationship, a high level of trust between our countries, and we are focused on the result. That's why we are seeing good results in the framework of economic cooperation. Despite the pandemic last year, our turnover has increased, and so have exports from Azerbaijan to Belarus. Therefore, today we will discuss in more detail the issues related to industrial cooperation. According to our joint decision, the industrial enterprise in Ganja has been operating for a long time. I would also like to discuss with you the issues related to the restoration of Karabakh. We know the experience of Belarusian companies in creating agro-industrial complexes in your country. Therefore, this issue, of course, has a special place in terms of the restoration of liberated territories. It's gratifying that we will continue to support each other in the international organizations in which we participate. In other words, our relations are far from any problems. Our regular contacts allow us the opportunity to simply summarize the work done, outline further steps, and move forward as two friends and two partners. Welcome again. I'm glad to see you in Baku again. President Alexander Lukashenko said, "Thank you, İlham Heydaroğlu. Against the background of all these pandemics and other events, our meeting may seem a bit like a burden. However, true friends do not delay actions that need to be taken on time. This is what we're doing, and no pandemic can stop that. You have rightly said that our relations in political and economic areas are very diverse in terms of specific directions. They're very appropriate, and nothing can harm them. We do not hinder anyone, and no one can hinder us. Because if you want to do something, it's difficult to stop it." Indeed, Azerbaijan has taken a huge step towards achieving its national dream. But this is the only first step. We talked about it a lot yesterday. I'm very glad that you, as a true friend of the Belarusian people, know that there is still much work to be done. Very hard work must be done to restore life in the liberated territories, and very much peaceful work must be done. You should know that you have reliable friends in Belarus. You know our possibilities. Today we will discuss them again with ministers and experts. If we come to an agreement, as we have always done, we will always implement the agreements as evidenced by the fact that the turnover has reached $500 million now. In general, there were no such situations before you became president. Therefore, this is a good result in terms of dynamics. As for our political relations, it's difficult to say that we're missing something or that there is a certain negative factor. We do not have such factors. Our relationship is excellent, and I'm always proud of that. We have restored the most cordial relations in all directions since the Soviet era. I'm especially grateful to you for your support in the supply of hydrocarbons to Belarus, especially in difficult times. This morning, I thought that perhaps we should consider deepening our relations in this sensitive area because Belarus is at the center of economic and political events. However, there are no unresolved issues. Thank you, as I just said, for finding time to discuss these issues at a very busy time for Azerbaijan. The meeting then continued in an expanded format with the participation of delegations. A ceremony of signing Azerbaijan-Belarus documents was held in the presence of President of the Republic of Azerbaijan İlham Əliyev and President of the Republic of Belarus Alexander Lukashenko. The Memorandum of Understanding on Cooperation between the Food Safety Agency of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Ministry of Agriculture and Food of the Republic of Belarus in the field of veterinary medicine was signed by Azerbaijan's Minister of Agriculture İlham Kerimov and Belarus Minister of Agriculture and Food Ivan Krupko. The Memorandum of Understanding and Cooperation between the State Tourism Agency of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the National Tourism Agency of the Republic of Belarus in the field of tourism, and the Memorandum of Understanding and Cooperation between the Ministry of Energy of the Republic of Azerbaijan and the Ministry of Energy of the Republic of Belarus in the field of energy were signed by Azerbaijan's Minister of Foreign Affairs Ceyhun Bayramov and Belarus Minister of Foreign Affairs Vladimir Makey.
Following a ceremony of signing of documents, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan İlham Əliyev and President of the Republic of Belarus Alexander Lukashenko made press statements.
Greeting once more time, Alexander Lukashenko, President İlham Əliyev added that the further development of friendly relations had great significance, saying that he informed President of Belarus about the post-war situation following the resolution of Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. The RFC noted that consultations were ongoing both on the level of heads of state as well as at the level of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, noting that the two countries actively cooperate and support each other in international organizations. President İlham Əliyev emphasized that specific directions of future cooperation for the diversification and raising of the trade turnover were determined, underlining that they discuss issues in relation to potential involvement of Belarus companies in several directions in the restoration of liberated territories, in particular in urban planning, infrastructure establishment and development of agriculture. The head of state added that Karabakh had been declared the green zone and the first smart village project was practically ready for implementation. President İlham Əliyev said that already companies from 3 friendly countries were involved in the work in the liberated territories and added that Belarus was also a friendly country for Azerbaijan. You are leading your country in the way of progress and you provide stability, and we as your friends are always by your side, said President İlham Əliyev. President of the Republic of Belarus Alexander Lukashenko thanked President İlham Əliyev for kind words addressed to him and the people of Belarus. In the course of the dialogues, the strategic nature of relations between Belarus and Azerbaijan was reaffirmed. Alexander Lukashenko said there was clarity about the future joint action in the world economy in the context of the crisis, pandemic, and ambiguous forecasts for the future. There have been significant improvements in the relations between the two countries recently. I appreciate the open and sincere atmosphere of our meetings with my friend. This is my 5th visit, said President of Belarus, and stressed that President İlham Əliyev paid 5 official visits to Belarus to resolve these or other issues. Alexander Lukashenko said the agreements on the complete cessation of hostilities in the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict zone are heartily welcomed and that this important political decision had to be the foundation of lasting peace in the region. The Azerbaijani leadership should also know that Belarusians are reliable friends and reliable people. During the meeting, trade and economic cooperation, the transition to a higher level of cooperation, establishment of joint ventures and the transfer of technology and the creation of industries in Azerbaijan were discussed. President of Belarus expressed readiness to establish joint ventures in Baku, especially in the liberated and restored territories. The mass vaccination of the Belarusian population will be started soon. The vaccines are Belarus-made, based on Sputnik V technology of the Russian Federation, and we are ready to share this vaccine with Azerbaijan, said Alexander Lukashenko. The great potential for the development of cooperation in industry, agriculture, wood processing, information technology, health, tourism, as well as prospects for deepening bilateral cooperation in science and technology was emphasized. President of the Republic of Belarus Alexander Lukashenko thanked President İlham Əliyev for the reception despite the pandemic and invited the head of state to visit Belarus.
Azerbaijan strives for constructive development of the dialogue environment created by the end of the Karabakh conflict and the bringing of lasting peace to the region. President İlham Əliyev's meeting with representatives of international media and think tanks at the international conference New Vision for South Caucasus Post-Conflict Development and Cooperation at Ata University reaffirms that Azerbaijan will continue to convey the realities of the post-conflict period to the world community through these platforms.
With the end of Karabakh conflict, a new window for political dialogue has opened in the region. Azerbaijan demonstrates a constructive position for the continuation of the peace dialogue, which will ensure the security and long-term development of the region. New Vision for South Caucasus Post-Conflict Development and Cooperation International Conference was an important platform in terms of presenting Azerbaijan's concept for the future development of the region, as well as conveying official Baku's messages to the international community and Armenia. Armenia's policy of genocide and ethnic cleansing against Azerbaijanis, the realities of the destruction of Karabakh, are part of history and cannot be forgotten. However, Armenia, whose army was defeated but turned into a prisoner of occupation for 30 years and who found itself in the abyss of economic crisis, must finally stop hysteria and find the strength to adequately respond to the peaceful appeal of the victorious state. We cannot forget the atrocities committed by the Armenian army. At the same time, we need to look to the future. I believe here we expect Armenian civil society to be more active, because today neither the government nor the opposition in Armenia is able to express a positive or neutral opinion about Azerbaijan. This concept of Azerbaijanophobia, instilling hatred against Azerbaijanis for decades, has in fact deprived Armenians of their rights. But I think they must find the courage to tell the truth to the Armenian people. The war is history, the conflict has been resolved, and we must look to the future, said President İlham Aliyev. In fact, a new cooperation platform is being launched in the region. During different periods of history, some countries that were opponents today are partners. It's clear that cooperation will soon cross the borders of the region. Against the background of new realities, Armenia must strive to become an integral part of the process in order to save itself. Azerbaijan, Turkey, Russia and Iran share the same approach to regional cooperation, and the main focus today is on the transport sector, because this is the win-win situation. Everyone will benefit from this. Armenia also joined silently, but in their statements they said they did not. They must treat the Azerbaijanophobia and Turkophobia disease. Thus, it's very clear what advantages this cooperation brings for the countries. I believe that Armenia will also receive a large share of this advantage, because today there is no real weak connection with Russia and Iran as well, said President İlham Aliyev. Undoubtedly, the restoration of communications will be one of the important factors for the future security of the region. Thus, Azerbaijan is trying to return only the construction and modernity to the liberated lands and to ensure the historical return of its citizens to their native lands.
According to the combat training plan for 2021, anti-aircraft missile troops of the Air Force of Azerbaijan conducted live-fire exercises. During the exercises, the military personnel detected the targets of the imaginary enemy and successfully fulfilled the task of the destruction using the S-125's anti-aircraft missile system. The exercise's main objective is to improve practical skills and increase the level of combat readiness of military personnel, the ministry added. French TV channel Arts broadcasted a program titled Nagorno-Karabakh Fragile Peace. The program states that it's impossible to live in the liberated territories. Armenian armed forces has kept Karabakh region under occupation as a buffer zone for 30 years. There are a lot of hidden dangers. All territories are mined. After signing the statement last year, dozens of people, particularly civilians, got killed or wounded in the landmine explosions. The journalist emphasizes that major construction work has begun in the ghost town of Fizuli under the instructions of President İlham Aliyev. A delegation led by Chairman of the Italian Senate Standing Commission for External Affairs and Immigration, Vito Petrocelli, visited Ganja. The delegation got acquainted with the traces of the crime caused by the rocket attacks of the Armenian armed forces at the central part of Ganja, located outside of the frontline zone. The GASWA informed that Armenian armed forces, violating the norms and principles of international law, the Geneva Convention of 1949, as well as the requirements of the agreed humanitarian ceasefire regime, deliberately targeted the civilian population of Azerbaijan, and as a result of missile attacks on October 11th and 17th, about 30 civilians were killed, more than 90 people were injured. 2,293 infections with the novel coronavirus were registered in Azerbaijan. 2,071 people recovered after treatment and were released home. 31 people died after testing positive for COVID-19. The overall confirmed cases in Azerbaijan have reached 291,894, with 255,833 recoveries. the number of active infections is 32,052. To detect new infection cases, overall 3,054,472 tests have been conducted in Azerbaijan, the task force under the Cabinet of Ministers reported. That was all for the day. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye.